Hi folks, so today I wanted to go back to doing some classic game reviews. So today's game I'm going to review is Formula 1 2001 by Studio Liverpool for PlayStation 2. Now this was the company that were previously called Cyanosis that did probably the best F1 games on the PlayStation 1. This, I think, is either their first or their second PlayStation 2 F1 game. And let's start out by reading the back of the blurb as per usual. It says, officially licensed product of the 2001 FIA Formula 1 World Championship, licensed by Formula 1 Administration Limited. Full season 2001 driver and team lineups, 2-player split scheme racing, enhanced car damage, realistic collisions, punctures and blowouts, official commentary from Murray Walker and Martin Brundle, instant replay with rewind and slow motion functions. And I actually got this game, was one of the first ones I got with my PlayStation 2 at around the time it was released, 2001.
We have the first light lit, the four's lit, we're almost there.
It ticks all the boxes for a basic PlayStation 2 standard F1 game, and there were quite a lot. I mean, you had EA Sports did one, there was a game by Ubisoft, F1 Challenge by Atari, so it's quite a lot of competition, although a lot of those came later. Honestly, I think this has got to be one of the best of the bunch. When I first bought it in 2001, I remember loving the cockpit view and thinking, wow, these graphics are incredible, because I was used to the pixelated PlayStation 1 graphics. So from a visual perspective, even today, it's not all that shabby. You tend to have to fiddle with the difficulty setting, what kind of race options you want, but once you've done that, you've got a pretty good foundation. The AI drivers, their strong point has to be the fact that they will overtake. I mean, if you make a mistake, they'll put the pressure on immediately, which is a good thing. But the flip side is that the AI also, they don't not make mistakes, but they don't make them very often. And that was one of the things that I always enjoyed with Jeff Crammond's Grand Prix series. It has a reasonable crash damage engine. Again, the Grand Prix games are superior, but you can take wheels off, you can flip your car, you can have quite spectacular crashes. So it does deliver in that department. It's just not a world beater, that's all. So some people would probably say the game has quite arcadey handling, but if you take off the ABS and traction control, I would say it's pretty much a full sim. Then it's even very difficult to play without any traction control. I ended up using it. So yeah, this is once again another title from a good age in terms of F1's history. Murray Walker is a national treasure, and his commentary once again is on point in this.
It's incredible! He's off to a flying start! This is terrible! He's down, out of the top 6! 5th position now!
And I think they've learnt from previous mistakes. Also, the way the cars handle, I've definitely improved from the PlayStation 1. The physics are okay, but they're not as good as the Codemasters F1 games. Part of that is due to physics in games advancing in general. This one does have a good crash engine, but the cars kind of are a bit unrealistic when they spin or when they flip. Overall, This game is really fun. It's definitely a big improvement on the PlayStation 1 F1 games, and probably one of Studio Liverpool's finest Formula 1 games on any platform. It's interesting to go back to the 2002 series, 2001, because you got the likes of Kimi Raikkonen, who's about the only driver that's still actually racing. I'd forgotten about the likes of Gaston Mazzucane and Tarso Marx and Luciano Berti. You've got Alonso when he was young, up and comer. He actually, in real life, he did really well in the Minardi. I think he got a few points, which in those days was pretty good. I mean, you had to get top 6 to get any points. Also, the cars are pretty accurate. I mean, in terms of how good they are, Schumacher wins most of the races, which is realistic for that year. Hakkinen maybe second, third with Coulthard, Barrichello, or the only weird thing about the cars, sometimes the Benettons are a bit better than they probably should have been, because 2001 wasn't a good year for Benetton, even though they every other year besides that, I think they did pretty well. They did poorly in that because they had a sort of experimental engine, and well, it just turned out not quite up to standard for whatever reason. So the Benettons run up the field a little bit more than they would. Other than that, it's all good. An aggressive, a lively AI is definitely better than a passive one, because it's just boring, isn't it? They get past them and they won't dare take a move. So even though they can be dirty, that's a good thing. Yeah, I would say for the time, this game, I mean, for an F1 game, if we're talking just F1 games, maybe when it was first released, it would be a 10 out of 10. I mean, very, very good. I'd give it maybe 8.5 today, I think. Even though it was one of the first PS2 F1 games, I think you struggle to find a better one. I've played quite a few of the others, and I think probably the EA F1 game had a better damage model. Other than that, I would say it's pretty good, and I guess that's because it was the official one. There were other games that had most of the cars, the tracks, but they weren't the official FIA game, and this one was, and perhaps it's the budget showing that it's a pretty good game. Anyway, I'm out for now. Just to let you know, I'll probably be putting some new videos together soon. I was thinking of maybe doing some more different topics, such as history and sport, which is I'm quite into both. I like various different things like that. So anyway, I'm gonna say Merry Christmas and ta-ra.